Hey guys, I'm Roger Wakefield, lead AP, the expert plumber, coming to you on YouTube Live. Now, if you've never been here before, this is your first time in, say you found this on a pre-recorded video, go ahead and hang around and listen. I've got people that want to get into the trades, people that are in the trades and want to get better, and people that actually already own their own company and maybe they're wanting to learn things about social media, or tradespeople that want to own their own company. So you can actually sit in here and learn a lot of good things, and we answer a lot of good questions. Now, if you are here because it's alive, here we go. We are getting ready to have fun. This is where we talk about all things plumbing. Whether you've got plumbing questions, problems, you want to learn how to be a better plumber, or maybe you want to learn how to own your own company, that's what we're going to talk about today. And hopefully I can help you answer all your plumbing questions. If you don't know me, I'm Roger Wakefield, lead AP, and I've been plumbing for about 40 years, so I've got a little bit of experience at this. I've done union, non-union, residential, commercial, service, and new construction. So we're going to jump in real quick. I know that, man, we had a problem. We had an emergency. Don't remember where I saw it. I jumped in the comments just a minute ago, and Christina, I believe, had a problem. Man, if your water heater is leaking, my first question to you is there a valve on top, and can you turn it off? I got Will in here in the studio with me, and Will is going to be bringing up questions, super chats, anything that pops in. I'm actually going to be jumping over into the live stream every now and then just to see what's going on. So if y'all see me look down here, it's because I'm trying to see what's happening in the live stream. How's everybody doing today? I know that we've got somebody in here from Beirut. Man, praying for you, praying for your country. I know things are kind of crazy over there right now. We're still under the assumption it was a firework manufacturer or something like that blew up. Man, if you know anything, feel free to drop it in and say hello. I want to jump in the chat real quick and just say hello. Number one, I've got Grayson, Julie, Will, and Amber. Got my mods in here. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate every one of y'all being here and doing what you do. And man, the plumbers and people jumping in, thank y'all too. Love seeing y'all jump in here and say hi. Got Jobo in here. Again, Christina S., thank you for being here. Cheese balls. Yusef, the first one in here. It's hot. Can we change water heater by tankless? Man, you can change a water heater to tankless or anything like that. It's just sometimes it's a lot of work. Stefan, I'm a plumber doing finishing right now. Is there any solution? Is there any solution to screwing in set screws faster for the trim plates? There are, but you want to be very careful. You can actually get an attachment where you have that long Allen or set screw, and you can use a cordless, but you want to turn that thing all the way down. You will strip out that thin cover plate very, very easy. Got Chris, Construction Cronies in the house. Guys, if you are not subscribing to people like Construction Cronies, Paul Peck Drywall Tube, man, there's a lot of them. The Urban Explorer. I got a lot of big channels that jump in here. Chris is a great guy. Talks about metal stud, drywall, construction, commercial construction, remodeling. Man, he's building a studio, doing all kinds of cool things. Chris, great to see you in here, brother. Man, I see that you're going live about the time I'm about to fall asleep. And I hate that because, man, I want to jump in and say, hey, what's happening? My thing is I get up every morning at about 3:30 and work out. Sometimes I'm up by 3. Sometimes I actually sleep till 3:30. But man, I get up, I get on the treadmill every morning. I've got my morning routine that I go through, and I do it 7 days a week. So it's not very often that I'm up as late as you are shouting out the great information on YouTube. But brother, it is good to see you in here. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. I needed something wet and cold. I tell you what, I love iced tea. Unsweet. What do y'all drink? Sweet or unsweet? I love unsweet iced tea, but I also like extra lemon in it. Grayson Wagner, thank you. It is worth the wait sometimes. I think so anyway. Got Kenneth Perry and Michael Cooney in here. How are y'all? Alexios Abu Roos, iconographer. Man, that's 4 names in one. And I broke them down one at a time. Sorry about that. Sunshine Terry says, I have a dishwasher and a shower on the same water and drain line, needing to put a pedestal sink in the bathroom. Is it doable? Yeah, you can. You're probably going to need to increase that drain line. A shower, is it? Yeah, shower should be 2-inch. Drain line for the The dishwasher, dishwasher can really drain into 1.5 inches, a garbage disposal, something like that. The drain may come close. I mean, you'd have to do your drainage fixture units to know for sure. The water line, though, if it's just a 1/2 inch line, you may want to increase that water line. So it's neat that you asked that. And look, people ask great questions. Here's the thing. What code are you installing it by? Are you UPC? Are you IPC? Where are you? What does your AHJ, your authority having jurisdiction, what code do they go by? How serious are they about it? You may be able, and guys, look, I've been able to call inspectors before and say, hey, look, man, I know here's the right way to do it, but look, I'm doing a remodel on a jacked up, messed up system that maybe somebody else has come in or somebody did something shoddy to begin with. And it's like, what can we do for a Band-Aid that'll get these people through for a while? And sometimes they may say, look, you're only going up one fixture unit over. It's not going to be that big a deal unless everything in the world is running all at the same time. A lot of inspectors will work with you and help you just to see what they'll do. Man, and I have almost hit the end button. So guys, if we blank out, I'll give you just one of two things. Our internet was down 15 minutes ago. We literally went into the reset on the routers and everything. But if I hit the end button, just all of a sudden, I will freaking disappear. I will tell y'all happy Monday. I will see y'all next week. Man, Pepsi and Doritos, ask a question one time, brother, and we'll get down to it, but it takes a little while. Just repeating it over and over will get it ignored. Julie says, I agree with William Rosebrock. Great question. Yeah, there's always good questions. So Ryan Swam says, hey, Roger, it's Ryan from Corona. I have a question for you. I keep getting calls from Yelp to give me more business. Do you think that is something that is wise? Man, I got to tell you, we paid a lot of money to Google. We paid a lot of money to, and I'm going to say to Google, and I want to get this right. We did not actually pay the money to Google. We hired marketing companies that, were doing things with Google. And it's funny because, I'd always get phone calls from marketing companies say, hey, my name's Tom. I work with Google. I'd like to talk to you about your marketing. And I finally realized these guys are full of it. So what I started doing is when they'd call, I'd say, okay, Tom, you work for Google? He says, yes, I do. So Tom, Google signs your paycheck. And all of a sudden you can hear Tom crawfishing. It'd be like, well, yeah, I work with Google. I said, no. You said you worked for Google. Does Google sign your paycheck? He's like, well, no, not really. I'm a preferred vendor. I work with Google. I said, look, I send Google money. I work with Google too. So don't call me with that BS story that you're trying to sell to people. And, that's my way of looking at it, guys. People will tell you whatever they want to tell you to get you to spend money with them, to get you to spend more money with them. Julie and I were talking about this just the other day. Marketing companies literally used to tell us, well, you want your phone to ring more, you just need to spend a lot more money. It's like, well, how much money? If I want my phone to ring this many times a month, how much do I need to spend? Well, we can't tell you that. Just keep spending more money till we get it there. And man, I got to tell you, that's not a good way to do business. And luckily, we started learning SEO. We started learning a lot of things. We started learning social media. But I got to tell you, and I don't like that Yelp does that. Here's the thing. You're paying them to advertise for you. You're paying them just like you are Google. It's a pay-per-click. The more money you spend on pay-per-click, the more your phone's going to ring. But the day you stop, it stops. And look, Will and I studied SEO. We studied websites. We studied website design for a lot of different reasons. But the thing that we wanted, and here's what I will tell you, Ryan, start finding a way to invest in organic growth. Start investing in a baseline foundation for your company. Start investing in anything you can do to make the phone ring organically, where people are finding you, not just because of your pay-per-click. If they're finding you because of your pay-per-click, as soon as you turn that money off, it stops. And I wanted to invest in a lot of other things to make it ring, so I started looking at organic and social and things like that. Nothing against Yelp. I think they do good things, but at the end of the day, be careful. So Brian Lee says, what's the plumbing code against putting a septic tank in the city line as a backup in case of a city failure? Brian, I don't think that they'll let you because most city lots don't have the square footage that you're going to need for a good leach field, meaning once that septic tank's full, that water's got to go somewhere, and they bleed it out into a leach field or drain it out into a leach field. Most city blocks aren't, or most city lots aren't going to be big enough for that. I don't think anybody's going to let you. It may be worth a try, but no guarantees on it. Trying to jump in here in the comments and just see who all's jumped in. And then I know I skipped some people over in the beginning, but I'm going to jump down here. John Cervantes, Big J, Illinois. Dye my stash. Man, look, my stash ain't gray. I was painting at the house this last weekend and got a little white on my mustache. Big J, Illinois, grow a mullet. Man, I had a mullet for years. Come on, guys. Isaiah 92, brother, I talked about you in a video today. Isaiah 92. Guys, if y'all have got any crazy pictures or videos, please send them to videos@rogerwakefield.com. Video or videos. Either way, they'll get there. But Will's right. I think we've put up video@rogerwakefield.com. Send me a picture, send me a video, send me anything, leave me a comment, tell me about it. But Isaiah, we actually made a video today and mentioned you. So I do appreciate it. We tried Yelp, didn't work. Yeah, man, and that's a lot of times what it is. Want to say hi to Jack's Plumbing Videos. Say hi to Deontay Richardson. How are you, sir? Let me see. Michael Serta, Danny Keen's in the house. How we doing today? All right. Plumbing. I like this. So back to the questions. Brian Lee says, what's the plumbing code? Okay. I already did that one. Oh, I hadn't hit that button. See, that's why I have Will here to keep me on board. I like that. It keeps the wheels from falling off. Modern MacGyver. I tell you what, I like that name. Modern MacGyver. I like that. Roger, you think it's a good idea for me to start plumbing and HVAC as your job at 15 to get started with learning the trades? Number one, if you're 15, I love that you're already thinking this way. Sorry about that. Talking a lot. Don't know if y'all see that, so my throat's getting a little dry. Here's the thing. At 15, you can already start studying plumbing code. You can start studying HVAC. There's a lot of things that you can start studying to get the basics down. Now, I don't know where you're located, if during the summer or during a coronavirus outbreak or anything like that. I don't know if you can get out and get a part-time job working on a construction site, working maybe in the neighborhood where they're building houses, cleaning up, maybe get a job with a plumbing company, I hate to say it, digging ditches, helping them pull pipe through a house, different things. And there's always good things that you can do. But what I do like about it is at your age, you can start figuring out what you want to do. Now, I don't know if you've seen, I've got a video. It's my free mini course. And literally it will ask you questions to determine what kind of plumber do you want to be. And it's funny because when I started plumbing, I had no idea there were even different kind of plumbers. I just knew I was going to get a job to be a plumber. And now I know, and there's so much that I didn't know, but there's so much that I've learned. And that's what I'm sharing with people today. So Angel Suarez is in the house. Julie is in here keeping everybody straight. I love that. Let me see. Who all's in here tonight? Modern MacGyver's all over the place. You love that. Isaac White's in here. I like that. You doing good, Mr. Will? Yep. Perfect. Yeah, you did. It just popped up. I like that. Mr. Grayson Wagner says, in Texas, how long is a licensed plumber responsible for a code violation? This is when the violation is not discovered until the property is under a sale inspection. Man, great question, and I love this. Here's the deal. In Texas, a plumber, the responsible master plumber for a company, is responsible for everything that goes in under his license. There is no time frame. You are responsible for it. And that's why, as a plumbing company owner, and I love this question, Grayson, thank you. the thing is, as the responsible master plumber, I want to make sure that when I hire plumbers, these are plumbers that are going to do what they're asked to do. Meaning, at my company, I tell my guys, look, I do not like shark bite fittings. I don't want us to use them. I don't want us to install them. I don't want us to think about installing them. Nothing at all like that. But I've gone out on jobs that my plumbers have gone on, and I follow them up to do something else, and I always go back and look, and you find shark bites. And to me, it's like, look, if I own the company and I'm willing to pay you to do it right, I don't like that. Now, it says that this is a sale inspection. So I'm assuming that this may have been a remodel. This may have been a change. It could have been something like that. But my thing is, was it a licensed plumber that did the work? Because that's a whole nother issue I have. Handymen and real estate agents that use them because they're cheaper instead of hiring a person that's going to do it right. It blows my mind, some of the things that happen. But at the end of the day, if it's a plumbing company that comes out and they've got the invoice and whatnot, here in Texas, they've got to have how to get in touch with the state board, the master's license number, all kinds of things on it. And so it can always get back to, and you can find out who's responsible for the work. Surviving Bob, how are you doing today? Good to have you in here. Says, Canadian first-year plumber, would it be wise to invest time into a complementary trade like a burner ticket or even a fitter's ticket? You know what? Here's what I'll tell you. As a first-year plumber, do you know what kind of plumber you want to be yet? Meaning, do you want to be a commercial plumber? Do you want to be residential? Do you want to do new construction? Do you want to do service? The reason I ask is, look, I think that if you're going to be a fitter, you're going to be a welder, you're going to be anything like that, that they're good things to know. They can definitely help you. And somebody asked me the other day if I would do a video about, welding for gas. And I got to tell you, I had been plumbing for 17, 18 years before I ever even realized there was a need for a welder to run gas. But I got onto a small commercial job that actually had a gas line that they needed welded. And it blew my mind because the company that I work for asked me, says, do you weld? And I'm like, yeah, I weld, but not like that. Man, if I welded pipe together, it'd be like welding a table together. It wouldn't hold any water. The thing is, there's good things to know about it. And me as a plumber, when I joined the union, I was able to work with fitters rather well because I still understood pipe and layout and takeoff and angles and things like that. So, is it a good thing to learn? If it's not going to slow you down getting your license, I say absolutely. Anything that you can pick up, any knowledge you can gain is going to make you better than the people around you. And that's going to happen for the rest of your life, for the rest of your career. Anything you can get. Remember, I'm a master plumber in Texas. I own a residential service company, but I have a master med gas endorsement, a master WSPS, a master residential fire protection system. These are things that help me because even though we don't do them, it's very beneficial for me to understand what's going on and the possibility of the need for that in the future. So, Surviving Bob, thank you very much for the question. I appreciate that. And while Will pulls up another question, I'm going to jump down in here and see DJ Wolfine jumped in. Michael L. Double J, double M is in the house. Good to have you here. Okay, Isaac White says, is it responsible to decline a job if joists are cut, even if the plumbing itself you can fix? To be honest, Isaac, that's a good question. Number one, you can decline any job. And if you don't feel safe crawling under the house or something like that, that's a good reason. Now, we're actually looking at a job that is about the same way. Somebody has come over and cut out probably the top 3/4 of the floor joist in order to put a drain for a tub in there. It's leaking. So this is probably done back when the tub was built. Or back when the house was built. So what we did, instead of declining the job, we told them, hey, we need you to have a foundation company come in and look at building the other half of this joist up, because you can tell it's bowing, it's sagging. We recommend them bringing a foundation company in, putting in another pier right there. That way there's a pier on both sides, because there's already one on the other side. Put a pier in on this side, support it up. That way, even if we do cut it completely out, there's 2 piers right there to support it. So that takes any of the engineering, any of the problems, anything like that off of us, and actually make sure it gets taken care of. The thing I love about it is we recommend the foundation company that we would use, because they're really good. And to me, that's a big deal. Now, if you can get in there and fix the plumbing itself without bothering the joists anymore at all. Now, if it's just cut completely bad or damaged, here's what you can do. You can always take pictures of it beforehand to make sure that they understand you didn't do it. You weren't responsible for it. And man, that's just completely out of your reach, out of your grasp, and it can never come back on you. Talking about moderators, Mr. Paul Peck, drywall tube in the house. And, I asked y'all earlier about construction cronies. Paul Peck, the Urban Explorer. Guys, there are people that jump in that are just, man, it's great to have them here. Paul Peck has over 100,000 subscribers because he does great things. And, man, after we're done, jump over to his YouTube channel, subscribe, ring the bell. That way you get to see the videos he makes. Paul, great to have you in here, brother. I hope everything's going well. Actually, I saw Paul in a couple of different, we both jump into a bunch of other people's lives, and I say lives, they're live streams. It was great because I've seen Paul in a couple of different ones this last weekend. And guys, no matter how much we do in YouTube, and, I'm getting close to 55, 60,000, Paul's at 100, headed to 110. And no matter how much we do, no matter how much we learn, we are both constantly trying to get better. And to me, those are the people that, man, we're going to end up being able to help people here on YouTube. And I love that. Super J says, Roger, good afternoon. I have a question. What do you think of cutting galvanized and soldering in a house with a gentleman of oxygen? I already have the answer. Let me hear your side. What do you think of cutting galvanized and soldering in a house? Here's the deal.
He's a fella who's breathing on oxygen tubes.
Okay. No. Yeah. And I get that. And yes, I have a question. What do you think of cutting galvanized and soldering in a house with a gentleman on oxygen? Number one, you're not supposed to have a flame around oxygen. And there's reasons for that. And I mean, I'm sure you know the reasons. Oxygen, it just, and not that oxygen's flammable, but oxygen is what ignites the flame. Oxygen it's not the fuel, but it is what it needs to feed it. I would say, look, I really need you to turn this off long enough for me to do this. And if that's a problem, I'd think of an ulterior plan. Can they go outside on the front porch? Can they carry their oxygen bottle out front and sit out there for a while? I mean, but then again, I've seen people on oxygen smoke. And don't get me wrong, it's freaking stupid. But, Super J, that's one I would have a problem with. I just have to tell them, look, I either need you to go outside and need you to go somewhere else while we do this, or just turn the oxygen off. You don't want to put you in danger or them in danger or their property in danger. And that could be really bad.
Super J just put in the chat that gentleman is going to a hotel tomorrow.
Good deal. Super J, I love that. And see, man, you're right. You knew the answer to this. I love that. Guys, and here's the deal. And I want to say this right. It really doesn't even matter what your company says. Guys, you've got to think about you. You've got to think about your life, your safety, your customer safety. And look, a lot of companies, they don't get it. When I first read the question, it's like, okay, wait, oxygen in the house? There's oxygen in the house. Until Will pointed it out, I read it again. It's like, okay, wait. Now, what if your company is not reading it right? What if you're calling them on the phone, they're not hearing everything? They're like, look, just cut it. There's oxygen. Okay, fine, good. Always make sure you do what's right for you. And maybe it is stepping outside and calling your company and say, look, I want to be very clear about this. I know in a hospital, you can't smoke, or if you go in a house that says danger, oxygen, no open flame, make sure that you explain things crystal clear. And then, I tell my guys have the right to say no to any job we do, any job. And they can say that because they think the customer could be in danger. They think they could be in danger working in there. Or, hey man, look, this is a general contractor that's ripping people off and we want nothing to do with it. And every one of my employees has the power to cancel a job or say, look, we're not going to do this job. And don't get me wrong, we may talk about it later, because I'm going to say, okay, why did we not do it? What happened? What's the deal? Knott's Luke 3. I hope I got that right. Brand new plumber here. Do you think a Stanley FatMax hand tool setup is good? I tell you what, I've been using different tool bags and all kinds of things for years. And here's what I'll tell you is they're all good. Okay. They all, the boxes are good. The bags are good. Even my 5-gallon bucket is good. Okay. For a purpose or for a reason. And I don't know if y'all seen the video that I did recently about my Vito Pro Max. I got to tell you, up until recently, and look, I've seen people carry bags like this, and I've always been like, yeah, okay. But I got to tell you, when I was young, my next door neighbor worked for IBM, and he had a briefcase that he opened up that had probably 100 tools in it. And this guy could walk in and work on any computer, any typewriter, anything. And I always thought, man, that's cool. I like the way his bag is set up because he's got everything he needs right there. Now, and I don't know which FatMax hand tool setup you're talking about, but look, Stanley's got different tools. Craftsman does. Everybody does. Milwaukee. And I got a guy here that has the Milwaukee pack out. And man, I got to tell you, I'm jealous. It's 13 feet tall on wheels, rolls it around. He's got every tool in the world. But I've never wanted to carry that many tools with me all the time. Now, to leave them stacked in my van, secured off, where they're locked up and safe, that's one thing. But I love just having my little bag, my little Vito Pro Max bag, throw it over my shoulder, walk in the house. I can do 90% of my jobs with that bag. Now, I've also got a solder bag. I've got their big tool bag. We need to do another video for more tool bags, but I've got their big mouth bag. And I got to tell you, I don't think I've ever seen a tool bag made as sturdy as this. And that's why I got excited about it. So anyway, the Stanley FatMax, I don't know which one you're talking about. If you'll send me an email to video@rogerwakefield.com with the model number, the serial number, whatever it is, man, I'll look it up and see what I can come up with. And man, I'll look at it and tell you what I think. Just for some reason, there is something about that Vito Pro Max bag or ProTech bag that was just really cool. And man, it works and it helps me. Satan says, to be a plumber, must I be physically built and strong, or will I get used to it over time? Can you also talk about what it's like daily for a plumber and a plumbing apprentice? Here's the deal. Look, you don't have to be in the best shape. I've seen little, slender girls in the trade that have done very well. I've seen big, overweight guys. Matter of fact, I think I saw him in the mirror. Do well in the trade. You don't have to be in perfect shape. Is it a physical job? Absolutely. Are you going to lose some weight if you're out of shape and overweight? Probably so. Are you going to build muscle if you're slender or slim or something like that? Probably so. Will worked with me one summer. At the end of the summer, he said, look, I can put on my resume, I'm proficient in jackhammer. But you know what? It never slowed him down. And Will didn't work out a lot, but he handled it. Does it whoop your butt? Every day. But eventually over time, you're going to get smart enough to say either I need to get stronger or, hey, y'all can kiss my tail. I'm going to college. I'm not going to do this anymore. Works either way, doesn't it? And, the thing is, good enough for him. He was smart enough to go to college and say, look, this isn't what I want to do. Okay, it's not for everybody. But you know what? When he did it, he did it. And he'd come home, he'd be wore out and jump in the shower and go to bed. But it can be done. And, the thing is, look, nobody's going to expect you to come in your first day and dig a 100-foot ditch 3 feet deep and it be perfect or anything like that. But they're going to ask you to give your all. Give 8 hours work for 8 hours pay. That's what the trade is. And believe it or not, it works. A day like for a plumbing apprentice, man, it can be anything. It can be anything from you're going to run in a van and help a plumber run service calls, or you're going to go on a job site and you're going to help a plumber build a house or a building. But the neat thing is, hopefully while you're there, you learn. And guys, if you hadn't seen my videos about, how to be the best apprentice you can be, the things you need to learn, learn that if a plumber takes time to teach you something, take time to learn it. Don't ask them again the next day. Gee, I know you told me how to tighten that pipe wrench yesterday, but today I just don't remember. Man, if they take time to teach you something, please take time to learn it and get good at it. Ed Butler in the house. How are you, sir? 13 months licensed apprentice. Your RMP has no work. Who is hiring so I can cover your responsibilities? Man, first of all, where are you located? And what kind of plumber are you? What kind of work have you been doing? 13 months. So, you've got some experience. Are you doing residential or commercial construction service? I mean, what all are you doing? That helps. And then where are you located? There may be people here looking for people in Florida and you live in California, so it's not going to help you a lot. So, and guys, look, if y'all are looking, post it in here. Look, we're looking for journeyman plumbers that are on top of the world, but normally the journeyman plumbers I'm looking for, they're not looking for a job. They're working somewhere. They've already got a job. They just may not be 100% happy. And those are the people I'd like to talk to see what we can come up with that maybe does make them happy. Jump down in here and see who all's jumped in. We got Root Down Plumbing in the house. Danny Keene's still in here. I love it. Hunter McIver. Cameron Rourke is in the house. And I've seen that name too lately. I think you sent me a question or comment about something. It's good seeing y'all in here. Pepsi and Doritos. See, I told you, man, we would get there. We are around to your question. Should I bother removing dead legs in your plumbing system? They're about 12 inches long. Here's what I would say, and that's really a good question because I like removing them. Just because if you're down there, you're already working on it, anything like that. Is it a pier and beam house or are they buried? You can keep a break from occurring by removing areas that aren't needed. Meaning, if I've got 10 dead legs sticking off and they're each 2 feet each, man, that's 20 feet of pipe that could rot, could corrode, could crack, could do a lot of different things. If I have an opportunity while I'm there working just to get rid of them, I would normally do it. But it's up to you. It doesn't have to be done. There's nothing in the code that says a dead leg can't be there. You just want to make sure it's capped off good. You're not going to get anything into it. You're not going to have any problems, anything at all like that. And always go back and check with the code that you're building by and see, do they say anything about it? Or even the addendums for a city. And a city could come up with their own addendums and say, look, if there's a line that does not catch anything, we want it discontinued, capped off, taken away, whatever. So a lot of different things that could happen. You just always want to look at it. And the one thing that I tell people all the time is, look, and this is what I tell my plumbers every day. We had this conversation this morning. If you walk into a house and you're not sure what to do, if it was your mother's or your grandmother's, what would you do? What would you do to do that job right? Because to me, that's really what it's all about. Mr. Deontay Richardson, good to have you back in here. Had your interview Thursday. Think it went well. Asked them questions at the end of your interview. One of the gentlemen said, I was best dressed applicant they had. He thanked you for that. Man, I love that. Look, guys, and I talk about that in some of my videos. What do you do when you go on an interview? What kind of questions do you ask? Do you ask questions? What do you wear? What do you come in prepared for? And you'd be surprised because some people just, man, they don't. And Deontay, I've seen you in here. I'm assuming that you watch some of those videos and things like that help. Are you prepared? And, I can ask you that about an interview. I can ask you that about just your daily work. When you go in tomorrow, are you prepared before you walk in? Because one of the last things I do every day when I get ready to leave is get ready for tomorrow. What do I need to work on when I get here in the morning? Is there anything I need to pull out? Anything I need to open up? Anything I need to get ready? Any research I need to do? Anything I need to throw in my truck? What am I doing to get ready? An interview is about the same thing. Are you ready for that interview when you walk in? Have you done research on the company, the union, the program, whatever it is that you're trying to get in? What have you done? And I love that, Deontay. What questions do you have? And look, things like that make a difference as to whether people get taken on or not, whether they get hired or not. And that can be a really big deal, being that one or two people, like you said, they made a comment about you being the best dressed guy. They're going to remember that. And look, that's at least a positive way to remember somebody. So it really could be good. Sean Murphy, how are you doing? Says, I'm signed up for a community college to start in the plumbing program. It's a 2-year program. They say after 1 year, I would be able to set for the journeyman in training license. Is that a good way? Sean, where are you at? Where are you located at? And I know I've seen you in here before. At least I know the name Sean Murphy. I hope it's the same one. But, my thing is, look, community college, and this is a video too that I think we made today I think we made it today, talking about trade schools and which one might be a good one to get into and different opportunities either through the union or through PHCC. There's a lot of good opportunities out there. The question is, what do you want to do with them? And if you can get into the community college, and I like this, it's a 2-year program, but after 1 year, you'll be able to set for the journeyman. Man, and journeyman in training, Sean, I'm not sure what that is, but man, anything you can do to educate yourself, I love it. And I think it's a really smart thing to do. So would I do it? And if I could get an education and it's going to make me better, I think that I would. Man, and I just jumped in here in the chat, and I'm going to point out a comment that I see because it's not a question, so I don't know if I don't know if we'll pull it up. I looked up and saw the Peter Richardson. Root Down Plumbing says, first thing is an apprentice plumber, stay off your phone. I cannot tell you how many plumbers and apprentices I've got rid of because of their phone. And man, here's the deal, guys. You're not helping me. You're not helping the plumbers you're out with, and you're not helping yourself. If you want to learn this trade, stay off your phone and learn the trade. If you want to become a good plumber, you're not going to learn that by playing Pokemon all day. It's not going to help you get to where you want to go. And hopefully, if you're in this trade, if you are trying to learn, whether you're in a training program or whether you're just an open shop guy learning from a good journeyman, hopefully it's a good journeyman, hopefully you're doing what it takes to learn the trade and get that education. So Peter Richardson says, hi, Roger. Just starting out as a new company. I love that. Congratulations to you. Have you got any tips on finding maintenance contracts? Yeah, number one, get out and go to the companies that you would like to do maintenance for and ask them, who do you call when you have a problem? Meaning, chances are they have someone in their corporation that is over that. And if they say, you know what, I call the facilities manager. You know what, can I get his name and number by any chance? I really would like to get in touch with him. And they may put you in touch with him or they may not. Another good one is go to LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn, do research on the companies that are in your area that you would like to do the maintenance work for, and then reach out to whatever job title that person told you. Go in and put that in the search in LinkedIn. Maybe you can find them another way. And I call it stalking. Go and stalk the company, look at what they've got going on, find out how to get in touch with that person or that job title that you want to get in touch with. And I'm telling you, things like that can set you apart and really help you get what you're looking for. And look, man, you can use LinkedIn. You can use social media to stalk just about anybody. And when I say stalk, I don't mean it a bad way, but it'll get you in and get you in position to help you where you want to be. Super J says, LOL, Roger, how do I convince my CFO, AKA the wife, on getting a website? You know, and this is a good one, Super J, because if that's really what you want to do, you know, you need to talk to her about it and you need to explain why and say, look, if I'm able to make this much money without really hustling to make my phone ring, look what a website would do if I had places to drive them to where people can see what you do. But you have to understand, to get a website, you've got to invest in yourself because that is money that's investing in you in your future. And my boss, who's in here, it's the same thing. We sit down and we have conversations, but they're strategic conversations. It's not just me saying, oh, honey, look, I really want this. I come to her prepared and say, hey, honey, look, this is what it's going to cost. It would take this many calls to help me pay that off. But I'll tell you this, Super J, is be careful of the companies you hire. We probably hired 4 or 5 different companies that ripped us off before we found one that really helped us. And, you know, the one that really helped us did good, but then we kind of outgrew it. So now we're with an even bigger one. But man, I got to tell you, there are some companies out there that will do exactly what they say, and they will really, really try to help you. There are some out there that, man, I got to tell you, it does not matter what they do. It's not going to help. They're going to blow BS up your backside and tell you what they're doing is working. And man, they just don't know why your phone's not ringing. Are you sure it's not ringing? Are you sure the CCR is just not answering it the right way and people are hanging up? So there's a lot of things, but that's why we started studying SEO, because we want to learn what are the baselines? What do we need to look for? What is the foundation for our website? And is it done right? But I tell you, to be honest, you should be able to get a website done for about $500 or $600, a cheap one, and say, look, I can start out with this and use it to grow. But I'll tell you this, and you know, somebody asked earlier about it too, about starting a new company. Learn to network, learn social media, and learn to do video. These are things that won't cost you money, won't cost you much money, but if you can learn to do those and get in front of your local clients, look, me and Will teach people all the time about social local growth. How do you use social media to grow locally? And I'm telling you, it helps, it works, and it'll do very good things. So Ed Butler says, I watch your videos a lot. What listening tools do you use? One looked like a Pro Broad with headphones. You know what? We've got different things that we use, and I don't have a sponsorship there. I did have Leaktronics give us some stuff. That's probably not the one you're talking about, but I've reached out to Leaktronics. Leaktronics is helping us design something that I want. It's a cross between the high quality Leaktronic leak detection equipment and the tool that you probably saw us use. Ed, look, there's different things out there, and we've made a lot of videos on a lot of different leak detection equipment. Man, we're constantly trying to get better. And I think that there are some good leak detection equipment tools out there. There's just a lot of them that could be improved. What I love about Leaktronics is it was designed for swimming pools. So once we learned to use that equipment well, we could take it over into the swimming pool and do leak detection in pools. That expanded our reach. And anytime you do that, you're doing good things. That one's great. And I got to tell you, Leaktronics is probably my favorite. The training is amazing. Darren is fantastic. He actually gave us a kit to give away a few months back, and it was really good. And we thoroughly enjoy working with him and talking to him. Nikita Marinov's in the house. How are you doing? Down plumber Danny Kane, Double J Double M, Black Goat Schwarzgeister. I saw you in here a while back. Good to see you. We've got a question from Matthew AZ Boy. Roger, did a shower remodel in a mobile home. Man, you are braver than me. That's just, I tell you what, the one thing we don't do is work on mobile homes just because it's so different. And most of my guys, including myself, don't have a lot of experience at it. So, man, good for you. Had to abandon the vent. It had a 1.5-inch trap existing. You used a 2-inch trap, a Santee with a Studer vent. Didn't like doing it. Your thoughts? I tell you what, and I don't like Studer vents because I've seen them leak. If they're accessible, that's one thing. I don't know if it is or not. I don't like them, but I see the value in them. And what I mean by that is somewhere along the way, I think somebody's going to design a better one. And they've probably improved drastically since I first used them, since I first saw them, since I first worked with them. But I mean, there's times that you've got to put them in. I did a remodel and just did a loop vent on an island kitchen sink. And the inspector came in and says, I want a Studer vent. You know what? You got to make them happy. So there's different ways to look at it. I don't like doing it either, but if the inspector says, this is how you're going to do it in my town, sometimes you don't have a whole lot of choice and you just do what they want.
Before we get to the next
Yes,
question,
sir.
someone just mentioned, let me give him a shout out. I'm not going to pull it up, but someone just mentioned, Sam Ham mentioned what happened in Baltimore. I just looked that up an hour ago. They're reporting a gas explosion in Baltimore in a neighborhood. Right now it says 1 dead, 6 injured. And Sam said he hopes it wasn't a plumber that did that.
And Sam, that's a good way to look at it. I hope it wasn't either. And I tell you what, every time I hear about a gas explosion, Will, thank you for looking that up. Every time I hear about a gas explosion, I'm always worried about that. What did somebody do? Did a homeowner do something they shouldn't have done? Did they turn on gas and not test it? Did a handyman do something? We had that happen here over in Las Colinas. A handyman, maintenance man type person was working on the gas at a laundry at a hotel or resort or something like that, and it exploded right by a pool. Guys, there's a lot of things that we can all work on. There's a lot of things that if you don't know what to work on, it could cost people their lives. So, Sam Ham, thank you for the comment. I appreciate that. And Sean Murphy says, I'm in Maine. So you're up there in that area, brother. Be careful. Up in the Northeast, not right in that area. I didn't mean that. Big J Illinois says, Roger, I'm a handyman. I drive a 2010 Taurus to your job. Been successful. Does it look snobby to upgrade to a newer truck? Thanks, Jeff. If you're working out of your truck, I have no problem with that. Drive what you're comfortable driving. Now, but I like the way that you asked that. Does it make me look snobby? I worked with a company in the union that was getting ready to start doing residential service. And they bought the big Mercedes Sprinters. And look, I see the value in it. I love that it's big. It's got extra room. It's got that. But most of my clients don't drive Mercedes. And I did not want to pull up as a service plumber because, look, I'm not the cheapest plumber in town. We're on the more expensive side, to be honest. I'm not as expensive as the biggest, baddest plumbing companies in town, but I'm closer to that ballpark than I am the cheapest. And the reason I say that is, look, I want to do things right. And I'm not going to scrimp on materials, on tools, on labor. I'm not going to get the cheapest guy. I'm not just going to send the cheapest plumber that I can find in Dallas out there to do the job and do it T&M so I can have him take longer and make more money. We do a straightforward pricing. We give you the price up front, and we honor that. And my thing is, I don't want to pull up in a Mercedes-Benz to be your repair plumber, to pull a sewer machine out. I don't want that review. Oh, my God, Roger and them show up. They're so high. Well, no wonder they're high. They drive Mercedes-Benz. No, we don't. Matter of fact, we drive old Chevys and old Fords. I've been in business 5 years. We're just getting to the point where we're looking at leasing 2 new vehicles. But I see the benefit of it. And I think if I started a new company today, I would start over different. I would lease 1 vehicle and go just like I did. When I started my company, it was me by myself, and I ran every call until I couldn't run them all. Then I hired somebody else and I let them run the calls. And then I got another vehicle and I started playing catch up. Anything they couldn't get to, I'd go run until it got time to hire 2 people. And that's the way we did it. And look, I'm not afraid to work. And if it got down to me in a truck again, man, I could make good money. It's kind of hard when you're driving up in a Mercedes, when people look at you and think, man, I can afford you, because a lot of time that's what they're going to think. You got anything, Will? Okay. So Barney Films 85 left a message, and it jumped on me, so I have no idea where it went. Yeah, great questions in here, guys. Keep them coming. Got Lilium Z in the house. I like that. I like this too, and we won't put it up because I'll read it. It says, Lilium Z says, is plumbing something you just get used to, or are there situations that will still gross you out? You know what? After 50 years, there's still situations that'll gross you out. But you get to where it's funny. And man, we had the greatest video opportunity, and I messed it up. And we are literally under a pier and beam house, and I've had Will under there with me most of the day. And he's frustrated, and I'm frustrated, and we're in a position, and I've been fighting a piece of pipe. I've even got an apprentice there with me too. And we knew that the piece we took apart, we knew that line was clogged. And the line that it had come disconnected from right below it, it had a no-hub band on it. And man, I literally just pushed the PVC line over out of the way, and I took my bucket and I hit that no-hub band where I knew that it would break up the clog, or at least that's what I was hoping. And I did. And I mean, you want to talk about stuff that would gross you out? It came out of this and literally filled the bucket. And me, I'm laughing about it because it's like, okay, you know what? I see this every day now. But I mean, as soon as I finished, as soon as it was still running, I just looked over at Will. I said, we should have videoed this, because it would gross a lot of people out. But you know what? Lilium Z, it happens. It's out there. It's an everyday thing. Sometimes you're going to see it. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes it's going to gross you out. Sometimes you're going to laugh about it. But I think sooner or later you just get to the point, it is what it is. We all poop. We all urinate. And that's what we deal with. Now, do we want to get it on us? No. Is it bad enough that it'll gross you out? Sometimes. Sometimes you can't breathe. Sometimes you got to hold your breath. Sometimes you smell and you're like, oh my God, I can't even be in this room. So anything at all is possible. Angel Suarez in the house. How are we doing? Have you heard of a plumbing company paying you $100 a day for 14 plus hours a day? If so, what do you think of that? Well, can't say I've heard of that. That's what, 70 hours a week at $100 a day. That's not good numbers. Is there any commission on top of that? Is there anything at all? How does that work? And where are you located? Because there's overtime laws. So, unless you're in a management position, it can't be a salary position. And if you're making $100 a day as a manager, you might want to look at something else. Here's the thing is, at the end of the day, are you happy with what you're making? Are you happy with where you work? Are you happy with your job? What are you happy with? And do you think that that's fair? Do you think it's a good thing to you? I don't think it is, Angel. I don't think it is at all. So jumping over here, Black Ghost Schwarzgeister's still in here. Elias Lemus is in here. I want to get invited to your live videos to share our plumbing experience. And we've talked about inviting people in here. Here's a neat thing about it. Like Paul Peck, and I'd love to invite him in. Normally, Elias, we don't invite in people that we don't know. It can start off by sending us, videos, sending us pictures, things like that to video@rogerwakefield.com. But we normally, and here's why. You never know what people are going to say. You never know what people are going to do. And it's live. So it's not like you can just turn it off. It is what it is. Now, the cool thing about it is, look, I trust Paul Peck with anything I got. I know him, and I know he's a great guy. Chris, Construction Cronies, I may worry about it a little bit, but I know at the end of the day, Chris is a good guy. We talk different on the air. A lot of people will man, go off and yell the F word all day during their live. And look, I have nothing wrong with that. That's one of my favorite descriptive words, but I don't say it live on YouTube. And, I don't say it on a podcast. I don't do things like that, but that's just me and my boundaries and what I'm comfortable with doing. And I would never invite anybody on and say, hey, look, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do that. Because I want to invite people on that, man, it's the way they roll. People can relax, people can be themselves, but that also makes most of us with YouTube channels be very careful about the people that we invite on, the people we talk to. And we've actually, it's funny because Will hooked it up today. I've got it set up now where people can call in. And Paul don't call because I've got my phone on Do Not Disturb, but people can call in and Will can actually run it through the mixer board and bring them in so we can talk to other people, so we can ask them questions and things like that. And guys, we may get there one day. And, I've got people that want me to do a big Zoom call and bring other people in. So there's a lot of things that we're thinking about doing that we want to do. We just, the thing to remember is we have to be very careful of our brand. We have to be very careful of our channel. And I mean, this is a career for us. So this is something that we have to make sure that we all protect with everything that we have. And I think that's why we do things the way we do. Double J Double M says, what do you think of putting a plug and adapter on a T vertically to take a face basin? Is that right? A plug and an adapter on a T vertically. I don't know why you're saying a plug. If you've got a sand T vertical stubbing out with a metal adapter, man, that's the right way to do it. You take your vent out the roof, your trap adapter right there is where you put your P-trap. So that gets your vent, that gets you everything. So if that's what you're talking about, right, and plug, you just may be, plugging into that. I'm not sure. A plug to me in plumbing is literally to block something, to clog something, to stop something. We plug up a line to put a test ball in it, or to plug up a line, we put a test ball in it to fill it up for a sewer water test, stuff like that. So Double J Double M, man, if that's not what you're talking about, let me know. But if you're talking about just a riser with a Santee and a stub out and an adapter on it, that is exactly the right way to do it. And if it's just a lavatory or something like that, 1.5 inches is plenty big enough. And man, it'll work. It's good stuff. Michael L., and this is a good question. What type plumbing is your favorite to do and why? And I got to tell you, look, me personally, I love residential service. And I love it for two different reasons. Number one, I'm a problem solver. Don't get me wrong, I've built some of the biggest buildings in Dallas, but I'm a problem solver. I am very good about being able to walk into people's houses and determine what's wrong. And it's not a power. It's not like it's like 40 years experience plumbing. So when I walk in people's houses, I know what to look for. When I'm driving to their houses, I'm already looking for things. Is there sewer in the front or the back? Is the water in the front or the back? When I pull up at the house, I'm looking up. Do they have a big vent right here in the front? What do they have? Where's their meter? Are there two-way cleanouts? So there's a ton of things that I am always looking for. But I think that keeps me thinking and makes me think ahead whenever I walk into houses. Do I love it? You know what? Look, I love plumbing. Now, my favorite, yeah, I think it is. But don't get me wrong. Man, when I was in the union and building big buildings, I love that too. I've remodeled some of a 52-story bank building in downtown Dallas. That was a blast. I've built, a big campus out in Westlake. I've done remodel at the airport. I've done some of the biggest remodel and new construction jobs. I was on Parkland Hospital. I was the quality control manager for, the biggest county hospital in Dallas. Actually, it's the biggest county hospital in the world. And at least at the time, it had over 2 million square feet. And I love doing stuff like that. Here's the neat thing, and this is why I love talking about plumbing. I've done it all. So I can talk to people about new construction and service. I can talk to them about residential and commercial. The neat thing is, look, I've done it all. And talk to people about union and non-union. I grew up and started non-union. Then I joined the union. Then I got out. Michael Cooney, is the union plumber best apprenticeship to do or not? Man, great question, especially when we're talking right about where we're talking at. Michael, I'd ask you this. Have you taken my mini course about what kind of plumber do you want to be? And I ask because some people love that union structure. I think for an employee, I think the union is the greatest thing on earth. You've got benefits. Your insurance is paid for. You've got a pension plan. Depending on where you work in the country, you may have a 401k. There's a lot of different things that just really can be wonderful, and it's good for you. It's going to be good for you in the long run. The problems with the union are when you own your own company, man, a lot of times you don't get the things that you need as a company owner. And I think that should be part of the union too, and part of the big deal. I actually just made a video about this. I think we put it out last week. I think the apprenticeship is good. I think it also depends on where you're at. I have talked with some instructors. Man, every instructor they have takes pride in the fact that they are teaching the next generation. I've been to the instructor training program in Ann Arbor, and I got to tell you, there's some instructors there that don't care about instructing. They are there for the money, and that's it. So it really depends on where you're at. It really depends on how strong the union is, how much the Joint Apprentice Training Center believes in educating their plumbers, or do they believe in just getting them through the program? And I hate to say it, but it's true. Man, that's really, it's a good question, because I think the apprentice training program is a good deal. But you know what? I also think PHCC is a good deal. They are instructing plumbers too. What is going to be best for you? Man, that's a tough decision. I'd say go through my mini course and check it out, see what you think, and then jump in here next week and tell me what you think based on that, and kind of go from there. I do think that the apprentice training program is great. I think the instructor training program in Ann Arbor is phenomenal. I just really think they've got a lot of instructors that are just there for a paycheck. So the students that are in their classes aren't going to get much of an education. And I hate to say that, but I think it's true. Sorry about that. Need a little bit of water there. Cameron Rourke says, I'm about to start school at Austin Community College for plumbing and have your apprentice card already. Is there any other certifications I should get? Cameron, as you go to school, and I'm assuming you're taking plumbing at Austin Community College. Here's what I would tell you is OSHA part of it, because I think OSHA is a big part in all the plumbing we do. Whether we work residential or commercial, I think that we always need to be thinking about safety. We do training for our guys here. Monday's leadership training. Wednesday is safety training. And then Friday is communication and sales training. And I think that all those are huge. I think that, we all need training. And I love that you're going to Austin Community College. I would have asked you before you had signed up, did you look at the union? Did you look at PHCC? I don't know if you're actually in Austin or not, but PHCC is down in Buda. The union is there in Northeast Austin over towards the airport. Maybe not even Northeast Austin, maybe just East Austin. And I think that, sorry about that. I think that they're going to give you a lot of the same education. In the union, you'll get paid while you learn. PHCC, you can get paid while you learn if you work for one of their contractors that's putting you through that program. So I think that there are some great opportunities. I think that it would be really good and a good idea just to make sure what all certifications are you going to get when you go through that training. You're already an apprentice, so you're already getting your hours, I hope. Are you already working somebody or not? And, one of the things maybe, look, go through my mini course and just decide what kind of plumber you want to be. If you're going to be a commercial plumber, there's going to be other certs that you may want to get along the way. Somebody asked earlier, hey, do I look at classes in welding and pipe fitting and stuff like that? Any knowledge and education you can get along the way is going to be good for you. And I think that's huge. Man, we're flying through it tonight. I appreciate everybody being in here, and I appreciate all the help I'm getting from Will and all my other moderators and all that. Now, if I can find my mouse. Man, there we go. Look at this. It almost looks like I know what I'm doing. Got Editor Grayson in the house. Avery Worldwide. How are we doing? You plumb, bro. Man, we are. Construction Crony still in here. Right on, Paul. Really looking forward to shooting with him for the day. And look, collaborations are great. I love that. And I love that. And I don't remember who it was that asked earlier about jumping in on a live. Look, any chance I get to have Construction Cronies, Paul Peck Drywall Tube, Urban Explorer, anybody like that in here where we can just shoot videos, have fun, have a good time, oh my God, I'm all over that. And, we've even talked about having in other plumbers. Man, come in, roofers. We did one with the roofer a couple of months ago or a month ago. There's some great people in the trades that I think we can all learn from. And that's why I love doing things like this. And Will's actually got my computer set up where I can actually bring in video from other people. We can do an interview, so we can interview and create that video. Now, it's not live, but man, that's something that we want to start doing. If y'all have not done it yet, go check out thetradetalks.com. I'm putting together a magazine for the trades. And there's a lot of people in here, a lot of people on social media that I would love to write an article for that, because we're talking about how to get into the trades. If you're a tradesman, how do you get better? If you're a tradesman, you want to own your own company, how do you do that? If you already own your own company and you want to do social media, how do you do that? So if y'all have not done it yet, go over to thetradetalks.com. Check it out. I think you enter your email address and your name, and you go in and you flip through it. But I mean, man, I talk about why I do what I do. And I've got people in there that talk about social media, that talk about all kinds of different things. But this is something that we're wanting to start doing, because we're going to start doing a podcast also called The Trade Talks. And I can interview those same people that wrote articles in there and maybe talk to them about different things. I mean, we're always looking at trying something new. So, man, I think that is great. And see, y'all see that? I didn't even move my hands, and I typed in thetradetalks.com. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Will. Aunt Mira says, I don't know nothing about plumbing. Where should I start? Man, I love that, because you started in the right spot. Here's the thing. I knew nothing about plumbing when I started either. I knew people that were plumbers. And I went to one of them and said, look, I want a job. You're in a great spot, because I've got videos where I teach people about plumbing. I would say the very first thing you do is start with my free mini course. Go to it, because that's going to help ask you questions to determine what kind of plumber you want to be. And that is the biggest thing, because literally when I started plumbing, I didn't even know there were different kinds of plumbers. I just knew I was getting a job and I was going to be a plumber. And to be honest, I didn't even know that I was going to be a plumber. I just knew that I was getting a job in plumbing. Luckily, I loved it. And to me, that's the coolest thing about that mini course. Aunt Mary, you may get a job as a repair plumber. And like we were talking about earlier, you may walk in and the smell may be so much, you're like, I cannot do this. But you know what? You may become the best commercial plumber in the world. You may be the best new construction builder that anybody's ever met. So there's a lot of different things that can be done. And I think that free mini course really helps people figure out what kind of person they want to be, what kind of plumber they want to be, what kind of job they want to have. And I think that's huge. And that's why we did it, to really help people figure out what is it you want to do. Okay, dig 742. I don't think that's the golden rule, but I do like that rule. That's pretty cute. The dude, welcome back. How we doing? Roger, do you recommend Joe Crisara Sales Tactics or Nexstar? I don't know Joe Crisara. I am familiar with Nexstar. I tell you what, and I'm familiar with Nexstar. I've never been through their program. I'm in a different one. I'm in a company called SGI, Success Group International. I've got a feeling it's about the same as those. There's another one. Oh, man. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. I think he's in Arkansas or Oklahoma, but he's mainly HVAC. I've talked to him, and he says he's wanting to get into plumbing. Like Jimmy Hiller, I believe is the name. You know, there's a lot of people that teach, and they call it sales tactics. I call it communication skills. You know, you've got to know how to talk to your customers. And one of the most important things, and this is one that we talk about all the time, you've got to know how to listen to your customers. It's not just talk to them, but it's listen. If you listen to your customer, you can figure out what pain points they have. If you listen to your customer, you can figure out what problems they have. You can figure out what they've already tried, how much they've already spent. There's a lot of things that if you just listen, it will change the way you communicate with them. And to me, listening is the most important thing that we can do, because that's what's going to tell us what these people are really looking for. Are they looking for a good solution? Are they just looking for a quick fix? Are they looking to fix it? Or are they looking to just put a Band-Aid on it? And believe it or not, you need to know the answer to all those questions to know how to proceed, to know what options to give your customer. And to me, that's what a lot of it is just giving them the right option, getting the right information in front of them, and making sure that they do something with it. And if you present it right, they will. They will fix it or make a decision and go from there. Tom Geremanos, hope I got that right. What is your favorite water test kit? You had one that had glass tips you broke. I've got a chlorine test kit that we do that in. I've also got a hardness. There are test strips that you run water on. And believe it or not, right now, I don't even know the name of either one of them. That is something that Will and I are supposed to be doing a video on, how to do a test kit at home. I'll make sure that we get the name of it, or we put a link in the video or something like that. Because guys, that is something, and you know, going back to the sales tactics, you know, if every plumber in here, literally every house they walked in, they inspected or checked the water heater and put a sticker on it. They tested the water for chlorine and hardness. Man, every plumber in here would be so busy that we wouldn't have enough plumbers in the world. Right now, we really don't. But the thing is, every company that y'all work for would be doing so much better. Because if you just inspected water heaters, you'd be telling a lot of people, hey, you understand your water heater is older than it should be. It's time to replace it. At least now you've made them aware of it. And if you've made them aware of it and they buy a water heater, did you really upsell them, or did you just make them aware of an issue they have? And so the sales tactics thing, to me, and it's something we should all be doing, but it's not really sales tactics. It's communicating with our customers and doing what's right. Tom and I know I got kind of away from the water test, but that's one that we'll work on, because it's the thing that we need to make a video on. I do love water filtration systems. I bought mine because we had so much chlorine in our water that literally you could smell it every time you brush your teeth. And man, when that happened, it was like, okay, I'm done. Double J double M, does the IPC code book is for Caribbean plumbers. You know, in Double J double M, I'm not sure what code y'all are building by. Are y'all IPC? Are y'all UPC? Do you have your own code down there? And guys, that's the thing, is it's different everywhere. It's different everywhere in the United States. God, sometimes it's different around Texas. What can you do? What can't you do? What's legal? What's not legal? What addendums have each different city adopted and brought in and changed to make it their own? You know what? And down in the Caribbean, do they do plumbing inspections? What or do they do them in all the big cities? If they build a new house, what code do they build it by? And look, double J, double M, I'm asking because I don't know. That's a great question, though. I like that. Tom Geramanos again. Love watching your videos. I'm a service plumber in Florida for 15 years. Thank you, sir. I like that. I love seeing how people do things in other areas. How do you perform sewer leak detections with a failing sewer test? First of all, we don't call it a leak detection at that point. We call it sewer isolation, because now we're trying to figure out exactly where the problem is. And it's funny that you're in Florida, because I had an insurance company call me from Florida and ask about my sewer water test and my isolation and how I do all that. And Tom, they literally told me, said, you would be rich if you were in Florida, because every Florida plumber, if it fails a test, they just tell them, look, everything under the house needs to be replaced. And I don't know if it's really done that way or not, but that's what he thought. Here's what we do. We come in with test balls and hoses, and we have extremely long hoses. I've got test ball hoses that are anywhere from 100 feet to, 25, maybe even 10 or 15 feet. And I mean, we've got 70 footers, 50 footers, 25s, everything in between. And what we do is we take the camera and the test ball and we push it into different areas of the house, and we isolate systems. Once it fails a test, we literally go in, isolate all the different areas of the house that we can in test sections independently. Now, Tom, the very first thing that we test is the two-way clean out. The reason being, when we put our test ball in, we've got a two-way clean out, and we've got a video on our two-way clean out so you can see how it's built. You've got plenty of room in between the risers to put your test ball there. That way, we can fill up the riser closest to the house and look in the riser on the other side to see if anything's leaking by. Because the very first thing we want to do, if it's leaking, is test that two-way clean out. And we normally test from the house out to the back side of the clean out. That way, if that's got to be rebuilt, we replace it, and that gives them an accurate test. From that point, we literally push test balls into different areas. We push them with a camera. We can make them turn and flip and go up branches, sideways, right side up. We can do all kinds of things with it. Once we do that, then we can isolate different areas. Once we isolate the area and we know where it is, we can literally move it a foot or two at a time until we figure out exactly where it is. Then we can put the camera right there, locate it, and tell them right where their problems are. Now, sometimes you'll come up with two leaks, maybe one just under the edge of the house and one in the back, and we cannot test what's in between because we have to be able to get test balls in the right area and know that one end or the other is holding. That way you've got something solid, a good foundation to test against. Max Ising says, hey, Roger, I'm an HVAC apprentice. Your company also does plumbing. I would love to become a plumber. I'm trying to decide if I should stay with HVAC or if I should start plumbing school next year. Number one, Max, welcome to the channel. I appreciate that. Look, I'm a plumber, but I'm also a certified HVAC technician. Now, I don't do HVAC work because I got my license, but I never used it. So literally, I don't even work on my own AC. If my AC system goes down, I've got a guy I call. I've got a guy for that. And that's the way I like to do it. So I don't want to tell you which way to go, but I want maybe go watch my mini course and find out, what do you want to do? If you want to do residential service, man, I say learn both of them. Because one day you can own a company that does plumbing and HVAC and know how to do it both. And maybe that's you. Maybe that's your guy. The cool thing about it is, and I've talked about this a lot tonight, learn as many different things as you can from as many different trades as you can. It'll always come back and benefit you in the future. And I think that's huge. I don't know if I'd go to HVAC. I love the idea that it says you've started out in plumbing, you started out in HVAC, I guess, but your company also does plumbing, and you got to figure out which one you want to do. That they're both, I think, going to be very busy in the future because I think less and less people are getting into the trades. So I think you've got a great opportunity ahead of you. Texas Chainsaw in here. Zephael, how are you? Good to see you. Matthew A.Z. Boy, Aceto Enriquez. You're an old plumber, man. I'm an old plumber. I get it.
So I sent this one because I thought it was funny that Paul Peck also hoards domain names.
Yeah, you know, Paul, me and you, brother. He's my brother from another mother. He's got 65 domain names. I think I'm up around 105, 110, something like that. Man, it's bad because I'll literally be driving down the road and I'll think about something like, oh my God, that would be wonderful. That could be great. And you know I shouldn't do it. And my boss tells me all the time, I really shouldn't do it. This is bad for my health. And my problem is she's normally holding a knife or a gun when she says it. So I really do worry about that. So, domain names might not be good for you. Charlie's Plumbing Service since 1990 says, hi, Roger. This is Andrew Flores in Edinburgh, Texas. Great barbecue down there. Great sausage down there. I have a question. How would I shorten the length of 4 years to 1 or 2 to get my master's? Is the Department of Labor program available? Man, it's not. If you've already got your journeyman, there's no way to go back and change the training program that you had. And it's kind of crazy because, man, when I got my license, you had to have 3 years to get your journeyman. And then literally, I think the next year you could get your master's. And now they're saying, look, there's a lot of people that, you know, they don't go through the neat thing about the Department of Labor training program, you know, a PHCC, the United Association, people like that, is there's a lot of training. There's a lot of education. There's a lot of book smarts. At least they're supposed to be. And I think that it probably does help people understand a little bit more about the business end of it. Man, I almost think that they could almost do the RMP course instead of the DOL training program. And I think people would probably get more out of that, and that would help. But, you know, you never know. Here's what I tell you is look, that there's just not anything you can do. And I wish that there was, because I think that there's a lot of people that it could be good. But what I will say is the things that you learn in PHCC or the DOL training program really are big and do make a big difference. And, you know, it'll help you. The thing is, in the next 4 years, you're going to get experience and knowledge that's also going to help you too. Ruan Marino, look here. And you know what? And Ruan, if you're still in here, thank you for the super chat. Number one, I love that. Here's the deal. We were talking about websites a while ago. And y'all, Ruan, to me, and remember, I've told y'all, I have done a lot of research on websites and website designers and things like that. And I love what he's doing. And Ruan has got customers, and y'all go look at his website, or I'm sorry, go look at his YouTube channel. His website is DevelopMark. But here's what I'll tell you about his YouTube videos. He shows you how he does it. And he's got a plumbing channel on the first page of Google in LA. Plumbing company, not a plumbing channel. A plumbing website. I wish he'd get my plumbing channel on the first page in UA or in LA. You know, the neat thing about it, though, he tells you how he does it. And y'all heard me earlier talking about how I'd been ripped off by so many marketing companies. Well, I'll tell y'all, and y'all are the first ones to know it. I actually brought Ruan in. Ruan's redesigning my website. But the reason is, if you go look at his YouTube channel, and if you're in construction, if you're in service, this is the kind of person you want, and I'm going to tell you why. And this is why. And look, I talked to him for a while before I did this. I wanted to make sure, look, this dude's legit. He's straight up. He's doing the right things. And I knew that by watching his videos, but I wanted to talk to him and ask him about it. So Ruan, and I had somebody ask her, I said, look, their boss, which is also their wife, kind of like the situation I'm in, says, look, you can't get a website. And I think they need one. And, you know, Ruan is the kind of guy, you know, I would reach out to and say, look, I just need a little 3-page, 5-page website, something to get started. What can we do? And I think it would be done right. And Ron, what do you think about that? Is that a good way to start, or does somebody need to jump in with both feet and say, hey, look, man, I need the full-blown website and data and content and SEO and the solid foundation and this and that, because I see the benefits to both sides. As tradespeople that want to get started and get started out, man, I understand that small website just to get going. But I also understand, look, if you're going to compete with the big boys, you better look like the big boys, because if you're not, it's going to mess things up for you. And like I said, look, man, I'm so glad you jumped in here, because we have really been talking about that a lot tonight. And I think it's neat that you jumped in, because I have got to see a lot of the things you do. And he says, I would learn yourself, start with a few pages, get a few successes, gain the confidence. Don't hire an agency when starting out. So there you go. Jump into, and Ruan can probably tell you, and he may even have them on his YouTube channel, of some different companies to help you build that starter page. And I know, Google's got them. I know Wix has got them. I know that there's some other sites out there. Here's the thing is, you want to do what's right. You want to make it look good. You want to make it about you. Use your pictures, use your this, use your that. And I mean, we even brought in a professional photographer to help us get our stuff right. And look, working with him and his guys have been great, because they communicate. Everything's back and forth. And I'm still going through my site and looking at things. I've got the dev link, so I'm getting to look at it. But I'm telling you, to do it right is huge, because it will keep you from getting robbed by the wrong people later. So, man, that's pretty cool. I'm glad you jumped in here.
I did want to let you know it's about 5:26.
Yeah, I was looking down at that, and I was going to say, guys, look, we are getting close to the 5:30 hour, so we're getting ready to shut it down. I don't know. You still got some more questions in there that we can finish up with. I figured so. Let's ease off on the questions. Ruan, again, thank you, brother. I appreciate you jumping in, and definitely we'll send people your way to check out what you're doing, not just on YouTube, but man, when my page goes up, I'll put a link in here so everybody can see it, because we're really excited about it. And just even the whole conversation from the beginning, guys, it has been amazing. Elias Lemus says, what is the biggest size you solder before you start brazing? I believe that we've soldered up to 2 or 3 inch before. I really once I get over 2 inch, I prefer to braze. And the reason being is, look, and if y'all see my video where I do it, I learned to braze through fire protection systems. So I'm really good about not just sucking the seal floss up in there, but also capping my joints. And, I had a lot of people jump in and leave comments, what, I'd fire you for that. That'd be the biggest mistake you did, but, it is what it is. I love brazing. I think it's been good for me to learn. It's helped my mad gas. It's helped a lot of things that I do. So, man, pick your own number, but also if it's on certain size jobs, some jobs, the specs will call for what they want done and the way they want it done. And that's the one at the end of the day that on a construction site is going to determine what you do, how you do it, and why. Shane Ryan, great question. And man, Shane, I think you sent me a message the other day. God, it may have been today. I think Julie pointed it out. If so, she'll say so. Shane, here's my deal. I've got an embroidery company here, local, that does my logo. And I also do my logos on the back. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. I guess you can. The neat thing about it is, what I do is I order my shirts now from Wrangler. I used to order them from a different company, a different brand, but now I order them from Wrangler, because the ones I order from Wrangler, I don't have to have tailored. The other ones I did. And even when I carried my Wrangler shirts over to the embroidery company that I use now, they were like, oh my God, these shirts are amazing. And even they saw the difference in the quality, and that was a huge, huge thing. So, number one, shout out to Wrangler. Thank you very much. I do appreciate the shirts. I love them. But Ryan, that's what it is. I carry my Wrangler shirt in. I get them embroidered first. Then I still take them to the tailor because I want the banded collar. So I have them cut the collar off. And that part to me is phenomenal because most people don't have shirts like I do. And it doesn't matter where I go, I always go branded. And I think that's a big deal. It's part of, man, it's just part of what I do. And I love talking plumbing, and I love talking YouTube. So I get out and I start to get to do it a lot with everybody.
You want to do one more?
Yeah, give me one more. I know that we're at 5:29, guys, so we are getting ready to shut down.
The reason I gave you this one here is because this reminded me that I got an email about a certain secret piece of merchandise that has been shipped to us. So we should be getting that soon.
I love that. And so maybe next week when y'all get in here, we will have a piece of merch that's going to be, I don't know if it's in there yet, that's going to be down in our merch section. It's not there yet. So we're going to roll that out probably next week because if it's already shipped, we'll have it. And I'm just telling you, it's something you're going to want to see. Actually, it's kind of funny. You're going to enjoy it. And this is a great idea because, look, we all collaborate and we talk. And even around here, this was an idea that we had in a meeting a couple of weeks ago. Will had it. We talked about it. We did some different things. We designed it and got it done, and it is going to be cool. So Paul says, I'm going to have to get me a Tuber Turd t-shirt at Roger Wakefield, Julie and Will. Yes. And I tell you what, Will's done great. Will designs all my merch. I may give him some ideas for some of it, but he comes back and says, hey, look, here's what I came up with. And we do. We've got some cool stuff going on, and we enjoy the heck out of it. I want to thank everybody for being in here today. Julie, Grayson, Will, Amber, Paul Peck, mods, man, I love what y'all do. I feel good having y'all in here. Paul, I don't guess you know, we got hit by trolls about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I mean, slammed. And it was crazy. Editor Grayson in the house, I appreciate that. Isla Bull says, you're so sexy. See, I try. And I may change the name of my channel to The Sexy Plumber. But, you know, I'm sure somebody complained about it or say it's not true. I get haters just like everybody else does. Guys, thank y'all very much for everything y'all do. I appreciate y'all being in here. I love the questions. I love the comments. All I say is, look, if you like this, please give us a thumbs up. If you hadn't subscribed yet, please subscribe and ring the bell so you know about this. And if you know any plumbers that might be interested, or even people wanting to get into plumbing that may be interested in this and you think could learn something, share this with them and let them know. Thanks again to my mods, and thank you all for being here. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber. I'll see you in the next video if you don't get flushed.